You think that the trouble is you finding your purpose. But what it really is, you accepting your purpose. See, someone told you once upon a time you could not do here. Okay. And so is everything in you you love doing here. In fact, you get more compliments, okay, when you do here from the people who hear you do, but it's something in you that you keep reverting back saying you're not good at it because someone came along and told you you wasn't good at it. The same as that concept with art. You brilliant at drawing, sketching, absolutely brilliant. But see, you had an art teacher who told you that you wasn't good. And so it's not about you finding your purpose. You know what your purpose is. You just won't accept it because someone came along and told you you wasn't good at it. I remember when I was in college and I took a speech class, okay? And you know, when you take a speech class, you have to stand up and you got to give a speech in front of the whole class. And so, I was a bit shy, okay, standing up and speaking to, my fellow classmates. And I remember everybody was, being called upon to do the presentation. And so it got to me, okay? And I remember I was there, I was talking very, very loud because I was I was nervous. And I remember my classmates, one guy said, "Oh, we can't even hear her. She is so low." And I never forgot, I had a phenomenal professor. I never forgot my professor said, "Well, people like Dina," and I guess he was saying like Shy, right? Um, and by the way, shy actually means selfish, okay? Because oftentimes, and the reason I'm saying it is because you say you shy because you putting all the focus and the attention on you. It's something in you that you know you need to deliver, but because you putting all the focus and attention on you won't deliver it. And my professor said, well, people like Dina, they normally talk very loud, right? He was just pretty much saying that, I was shy or whatever it was. Okay. But I remember it was one guy I used to mess with. And I remember that one guy said to me, because I gave him an ultimatum, like, listen, we ain't gonna be just having fun, okay? It's either we gonna mess around with one another, okay, be in a relationship, or we cutting ties. And I remember he said to me, this was through text. He said, "You think I would make you my girlfriend? You hear the way you speak?" And so when I always like to talk, if you can't tell, okay? I always love to talk. Even in school when I was a kid, I always would get, the teacher would always complain about me talking a lot in class and how I was a chatterbox and all these different things, right? And I remember when I started doing my first videos, that thought came into my mind about what he said. You hear the way you speak? In the words of Lisa Nichols, one of the things she said was, she said, some things, like your breakthroughs, sometimes it'll come through sandpaper, right? Like you crying because you had listened to someone who may have that title or that label, that profession, and you may listen to them and they may have said, "You're not good enough." I remember a few weeks ago, I had came across this, oh my goodness, I don't know the content creator name, but she wear real bright colors, and it's not Tabitha. It's not Tabitha Brown. It's this lady who's uh um a coach. Okay, she's like she teach people how to sing. Okay, a vocalist. I don't know what you call them, but anywho, so she had one student who, whenever the student needed to hit the high notes, she would shy away from it because that student had a music teacher who told her that she couldn't sing. And so I want to let you know this. You've been thinking, is you finding your purpose, what your passion is not that. Many cases you know what it is, but you don't want to accept it because somebody told you wasn't good at it. Because somebody told you would never make it. Because somebody told you, not a person like you from where you grew up, and not a person like you with your skin color, not a person like you, and you listen to it. But I'm gonna need you to ask yourself this question. I came here for a reason. And I know Source didn't bring me all the way here to allow me to fail. So why do I show up each and every day like a failure? Why do I show up each and every day not doing the thing that I was created to do? Why do I step into faith, trust the unknown, and do the thing that I was created to do? See, many times in life, people who are doing the thing that we desire to do, and you may also had a teacher, okay, a school teacher that said, I remember listening to Bob Proctor, and one of the things he said, he had a teacher, who asked him, Bob, where you going, after the eighth grade? And he said he was going to, a different school. And she said, oh no, don't go there. Don't go there. It was like a business school or something like that, I think. And the teacher said, no, don't go there. You will never do well. But then later on, Bob Proctor had a successful business that was operating all around the world. You may even had your parents tell you that you was a reject, that you will never amount to anything, that nobody will ever listen to you. I had a passenger one day when I was doing Uber. Yes, I was a ride share gal, okay, doing Uber and Lyft. And it always baffled me when the passengers would get in my car, and I always would make conversations with them. And at first, when I started doing Uber and Lyft, I didn't even know how to start a conversation, no, because I would be like, oh my goodness, these strangers, right? But what I really realized was that we are all connected. See, there's only one mind, and that's universal mind. There's not a mind for the black, for the white, for the Asian, for the Caucasian. No, it's one mind, universal mind. And every time we have these thoughts that we get emotionally involved with, we send that out, we send that thought out, we permit that thought out into the ether. And I would listen to personal development every time, because that's what I was doing when I wasn't doing Uber and Lyft. I would be home, I would listen to personal development. But I remember I had this one passenger who was a lawyer, and he was something else. I forgot the name he used. And I didn't know what it was. And I said, what is that? And he said, you don't know what that was? It's like almost like, damn, you don't know that, right? But I remember him and I started talking. And I remember I asked him what was his passion, like what was it that, what is it that he loved to do. Now here it is, a lawyer, making, I don't know how much, but I remember he said he loved to make music, right? He had like a rock and roll band, him and his friends, but he had a father who was a lawyer, and his father didn't want him to do music because I guess his father felt like that's not like an actual, profession. That is more so like a hobby, right? And so the way he spoke about that band that him and his friends was a part of, it was almost like the inner child within him was dying, because the way he spoke about it, at first he excited and things like that, but then afterwards he goes on and say, oh no, but my father didn't want me to do it. He wanted me to take, the do the business, become a lawyer and stuff like that. And it's so sad that so many people, and we have heard this time and time again, so many people go to the grave with the music still playing within them because they have allowed someone to tell them that they wasn't good enough. They have allowed someone to say, well, we've been doing it. This is the way it's supposed to go. Let me tell you something. There is more than one way to skin a cat. Okay. All right. There's more than one way to skin a cat. All right. And it's not that you don't know what your purpose or your passion is. You know it, but you don't accept it because someone told you once upon a time you wasn't good enough, or that's not for you. And with that being said, let me know in the comments, what is it, the thing that you should do, but you don't do it? And let me know, how much longer are you going to be living someone else's nightmare? I love to hear from you guys. We on this journey together. Make sure you guys comment, like, subscribe, and I catch you guys on the next one. Peace.